All right, and do we have our representative here yet this morning? We don't. From RCMP. They're invisible. Where did they go? Okay. So the idea is that during the holidays, the RCMP would gift these bears that we have filled with love to those who are designated drivers. So they have a roadblock that they do every year, as you know, this time of year. And so the police, as they check each car, anyone that's a designated driver gets a bear, one of our bears, if we can bear it. So that's where they're going to go. And so what I'd like to suggest is, should we let them just continue to fill with love until they show up? Okay, so just keep your bears and just imagine that you are, from your heart and through your hands, you are just very gently, lovingly, or maybe not so gently, stuffing these bears with lots of love. So let's do that, and then would you like to do the socks? Or do you want me to? Okay. So today we have someone here that is a representative from an organization. Oh, I see. Okay, bring up the socks. Someone back there is waving their socks. Anyone that brought socks today, would you please come forward? She's been waiting all week to do this. We have, yes, and you as well. Put the socks in there. Thank you. Anyone else bring socks? I would like to personally thank everyone who has brought these socks. They are going for a good cause. They're going to go to seniors who are at risk or having some difficulties in our community, and each one will get a pair of these beautifully purchased socks in many colors. Some are for men, some are for women, so we're very, very grateful. So I'd like to invite you up, please. Please come on up. Bonnie, her name is Bonnie, and she is here today to receive all of these socks. Come on up here. All the way up. And just tell us a little bit about your organization.
Sure.
Just very little.
So I actually do this project with my family. We do a project every year for the last 5 years, and this is the second. This is a give back, a gratitude project for the blessings that my family has that aren't any more than probably the blessings that all of us have, but are definitely different than some of the tools and the opportunities that other people in our community have. So last year we chose to do this project for seniors, and we created presents for them, and we asked the Center for Seniors Information to provide us with the names, just the first names of some at-risk seniors in our community that don't receive a single Christmas present and haven't for some time, and they were able to find 70 seniors that different organizations in our community were able to point out, and we, with the help of our friends, were able to provide not only some necessities for them, and shampoo and conditioner and soap and things like that, but some comfort things too, like new socks and tea and Christmas mugs and things like that. We had so much fun, and we created such an impact last year that we decided to do it again this year. And so you guys have become a part of that project by providing us around 30 pairs of socks. We've actually found 58 seniors that we will be creating those Christmas presents for today. And my van is full to the roof right now with the last minute donations. We're heading over today to create the presents. So thank you very much for thinking of us and helping us create an amazing Christmas. Last year, when these seniors, some of them received these presents, they just wept because they've never received anything like that before. They were boxes full of things. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Another place for our warm and fuzzy socks to go, and she has to go, so maybe you can help her get a container. We use this container every year, unless you want to bring it back. If you want to bring it back. Okay, why don't you just bring it back? That's no worries. And I remember hearing actually on the news this week that seniors are the new homeless, that elders and seniors who do not have at risk, that do not have enough income, are the new, instead of the young people that are homeless, they're now some seniors. So I think it's a very worthy cause. Pat, can you take this? So if I see the RCMP, we have a special song, a teddy bear song that we're going to be doing today for, but we'll see if when they are here. Sorry. It's an Elvis song. It's an Elvis song. Who likes Elvis? We all love Elvis. We have our own Elvis.
Thank you very much.
So today's message is what really matters. So just take a moment. I was asking, where'd she go? Meg, where are you, Meg? I was asking, there she is back there holding lots of bears. I asked her, I said, what's the most important thing to you? What really matters? And she said, I don't know. So maybe you have that response too. So take a moment to think right now of what really matters to you. I was thinking of my daughter. And all of her life, since the day she was born, I used to say to her, even when, just barely crawling, I love you to the moon and back. And when she learned to talk, she said, well, I love you to the stars and back. And then to the universe and back. And it went on and on. And so this holiday season, I was able to find a necklace online and send it, because she's in the States. I learned the interesting part of sending something across the border. I still haven't got my birthday present she sent me. So anyway, I sent it from the States, and it's so adorable. And it says, I love you to the moon and back. And she just got it. And I said, open it. And she couldn't believe it, that, that's what I've been saying to her since she was born. And so anyway, think about yourself. Think right now, what really matters to you? What is really important to you? So this morning, it is my intention that we deck the halls of our hearts and of our minds with peace and power, and that is the infinite power of the divine and the grace of God, in the midst of all that is yet remaining, all the busyness with which many of us operate this time of year. Anyone feeling very busy with lots of things to do? So I always like to check in right about now to see how many of you in this room have all of your holiday shopping done. Raise your hands. Okay, keep your hands up. Of those remaining, how many of you have your out-of-town gifts sent? Keep your hand up. And out of you, how many of those have their holiday meal planned? There's a lot more than I thought. And have even purchased the items for your holiday. Wow, that many. Because I had a prize. I didn't think there would be that many. So I only brought one prize. So who was
for someone who has nothing ready?
Does anyone have absolutely nothing ready? Wait a minute. You raised your hand for everything.
Well, I want that prize.
That's the only question you're getting.
Are you been naughty or nice? What is Santa going to do with you? All right. Well, I would like to gift this to somebody. It has chocolate. All right, Pat, come on up. We'll give it to you. She raised her hand. There we go. Now I have one present. She's the one that has nothing then?
The hat, right?
The hat. All right, very good. So even for those of you who are very prepared types, and definitely for the rest of us, today we are about the important task of decking the halls of our hearts and of our minds with what really matters. And I call this the peace for me, the peace, the power, and the grace of the divine. How many of you have ever seen a bumper sticker on a vehicle that said, this car is powered by Starbucks? We used to have one in the States. It was powered by Dutch Brothers, because that was the name of our company that was in the local. But what about if we had a bumper sticker that said, this car is powered by the infinite presence of the divine? The infinite. I'm powered by the infinite. Isn't that so much bigger than Starbucks?
Yeah.
Now, for some of you, I know you like your Starbucks. So. All right, so what I thought I would do, I have a confession to make, so put on your confession collars. Just like my eyes can be sometimes bigger than my tummy. Has anyone ever had their tummy bigger than their eyes? That happens at Christmas sometimes, right? During the holidays. Well, I came up with these three words, and they're all three of these words. Peace, power, and grace are all divine words, and I could do a whole sermon on each one. But I decided instead I would just do a tiny bit on peace, a tiny bit on power, and then the rest of it on the grace. And I love that saying, there go I, but by the grace of God. You've all probably heard that statement, something like to that effect. So I wondered, what would I say briefly about peace that would really have us go within to that beautiful place of spirit and really have an experience of that divine peace. And I found the most exquisite poem, and it was written by a Korean spiritual teacher named Leaky Lee. That's his name, Leaky Lee. And this was created by the Millennium World Peace Summit of Religions and Spiritual Leaders in the General Assembly Hall of the United Nations. So I'm going to share that as my piece. And I'd like you to close your eyes so you can hear these words, these beautiful words written by this amazing Korean spiritual man, this leader. And he actually calls it a poem or a prayer. And it's not in the form of affirmative prayer such as we teach here, but it is a powerful, beautiful reading, if you will, or prayer. And so I'm going to say this like it is a prayer. So just allow these words, just see what it sounds like, see what it feels like, and if you wish, to open your heart and receive these words of peace from Maliki. He says, I offer this prayer of peace, not to the Christian God, nor the Buddhist God, nor to the Islamic God, nor to the Jewish God, but to the God of all humanity. For the peace that we wish is not for a Christian peace, nor a Buddhist peace, nor an Islamic peace, nor a Jewish peace, but a human peace for all of us on this planet. I offer this prayer of peace to the God that lives within us all, that fills us with happiness and joy, to make us whole and help us understand life as an expression of love for all human beings. For no religion can be better than any other religion. For no truth can be truer than any other truth. For no nation can be bigger than the earth itself. Help us all go beyond our small limits and realize that we are one. We are one. That we are all from the earth. That we are all earth people. Before we were indigenous, before we were Korean or American or Canadian or Italian or Ukrainian, before that, God made the earth. We humans have to make it prosper by realizing that we are of the earth and we are divine, but not of any nation, race, or religion, but by knowing that we truly are one in our spiritual heritage. Let us now, he said, make amends to all humanity for the hurt that religions have caused, so that we can heal the hurt. Let us now promise to one another to go beyond competition and to come together as one in God. I offer this prayer of peace to you, the Almighty, to help us find you within us all, so that we may stand proudly one day before you as one humanity. I offer this prayer of peace with all of my fellow earth people for a lasting peace on earth. Amen. So isn't that beautiful? I love that. And a lasting peace on earth. If you ask this question to most people on the planet, what is the one thing they would wish for earth? They would say peace. We want, even children, they want to have peace on earth. So it's so important. The great philosopher from China, Lao Tzu, he said this: if there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between religions. If there is to be peace between religions, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. So take a moment right now to see if there is inside of you any place that is not at perfect peace. Any situation, any family member, a lot of times at the holidays, we get to reintroduce ourselves to our families. They say, who are you? So maybe there's some places. What would it be like if you became the peace troubadour? You spoke the word for your family, for your situation, for your city, for your country, for peace. And I love those words of Dr. Holmes, that peace is the center of your own soul, it is the very being of who you truly are. Peace. And this peace, which is at the center of your being, has never been disturbed. In fact, I've heard this said that peace is the power at the heart of God, from Ernest Holmes, our founder. Peace is the power at the heart of God. And so let us move into the second possibility for your consideration. I always like to say that because I think it's important that we choose these things. And once you make a choice, it becomes, you embody that. So power, what is power? Dr. Holmes said this. He said, there is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it. And I wanted to tweak that a little bit. I liked his words, his famous words. I like it this way. There is a power for good within you, and it is ready to express as you, but you must choose. We must allow it. Joel Goldsmith, who was a very well-known philosopher, spiritual teacher of our time. How many of you have heard of Joel Goldsmith? He said that within you the divine resides, but you must open a way for that essence to come out. So it's not about looking out here and bringing it in. It's about opening up, because right where you are, the divine is. It is looking through your eyes. It is breathing you. And so we are here to open a way for this beautiful essence, this truth of us to come out. I love that. And when each of us feels that powerful man, the man and woman of universal spirituality, when we feel that, we bring that into every situation in our life. So we want to think and feel and know that we are that which is the divine. And that brings us finally to grace. And I love Dr. Holmes. He gave us his definition of grace. Think for a moment. What do you think grace is? What is grace? It's not what you say before a meal only. I mean, it could be that. I have on my table at home a little book that says 100 graces. And they're from all over the world. All over different spiritualities, different religions. And so I just kind of do open the book and see which one I want to read. And they're really great. They're from nuns and priests and Buddhists and every religion. It's great. But that's not a different kind of grace. So what is grace to you? Anyone want to guess? What is grace? Forgiving. Okay, good. Unity. Good.
Humility.
Oh, humility. Humility. Okay. Acceptance. At the moment. Okay, Marie? Very good. Where's the prize? You got it. I'm going to give you the definition that Dr. Holmes said that encapsulates what Marie just said, which is the realization of the presence of God as you. As you. Every one of us. This is what he said. He said, grace is the givingness of the Spirit to its own creation. That would be us. Grace is, but we need to recognize it, said Holmes. It is not something God imposed upon us, but it is the result of the acceptance of our divinity. The realization of our divinity. When you realize who you are, that you are made out of God's stuff, your whole life takes on a different meaning, a different journey. Maybe one even greater, the next greatest, grandest version of yourself that you may not have even known. And I've been asking this, I would say the last 2 weeks, as we go into the new year. I've been saying, I'm really ready. I am so ready for what is next. What is the next greatest, grandest version of Joy-anne? What might that be? What does it look like? What does it sound like? What is it? And so what would that be for you as we go into the new year? What is next for you? I love that. There's always more. We never get it done and we can never get it wrong, as Abraham Hicks says. I love that. So grace. God's grace, I believe, is like a vast ocean. So imagine that you are standing in front of this amazing, vast ocean, this ocean of life. And we can come to that ocean with a thimble. Who wants a thimble of grace? Or a bucket, or a big bucket, or we can hook up a hose. Anyone want to get hosed? Hosed. And have an ongoing experience of this divine flow. The more connected we are, the more we align with this truth of our being, this divine essence, this truth, the more we are in the flow of grace. In the flow of grace. And in God's grace, there was always enough. There is always more than enough. So if you are here today, which you are, in case you didn't notice, some of you may not think you're all here, but I see all of you, then you have what you need right now. Now you may want more things, you may desire more things, but you have what you need right now, today. And very important, it is enough. And so I bring this story. I love this story that I'll share with you. It encapsulates so powerfully this idea of enoughness. Because when we decide that we are enough, exactly as we are, when we realize that we have enough, because we are connected to this divine essence of our being, when we realize that at a deep level, we really live by grace. So see if you can really hear the truth of that in this story. So once upon a time, I always like to start that way. Once upon a time, on a Saturday before Christmas, there was a nicely dressed little girl who was at Toys R Us. How many of you have been to Toys R Us? And she was excitedly looking through the Barbie dolls. How many of you, not you guys, how many of you remember having Barbie dolls? Oh, I love it. You had a Barbie doll?
My sisters did.
Okay, good. Did you have a Ken doll?
No.
I had both, and they had lots of fun, so I'm just saying. Okay. So, here it is, Saturday afternoon. The little girl is nicely dressed, and she's in the store, and she's going through all the Barbie dolls, and she has in her fist, a whole fist, it's a whole roll of toonies. You know how much, that's quite a bit of money. You know, have you ever had a whole roll of toonies? You have, okay. So she has it clamped in her little fist, and she's all excited. She's going through all the Barbies, and she finds this one, and she turns to her dad, who's standing next to her, and she says, "Daddy, is this enough? Is this enough?" And Daddy, he says, "Yes, that's enough." And then she finds another one, and she says, "Daddy, is that enough?" And he says, "Yes, that's enough." And so she goes through quite a few Barbies, and as she's doing that, she's noticing a little boy across the aisle. Now he's wearing, clean clothes, but his coat was kind of a little big for him, kind of big. And in his hand, she could see that it wasn't a whole roll of toonies, but just a couple of loonies. Toonies. It was a couple of loonies. I get those mixed up. I've been away from Canada too long. So he only has like $2, right? Worth $2 in his little hand. So he picks up a video game, and he's with his dad, and he says, "Daddy, is this enough?" And his daddy says, "No, you don't have enough." And so he goes and he picks up another video game. He says, "Daddy, is this enough?" And his dad says, "No, this is not enough. You don't have enough." And so the little girl is watching this and looking at her Barbies and watching this little boy who doesn't have enough, right? So she finally settles on the most amazing, this beautiful Barbie that has like a whole wardrobe, and she's, her dad said she had enough. And just as she was getting ready to take that Barbie, she noticed the little boy and the dad kind of walking away, and all he had in his fist was some stickers. That's all that he could afford, the little boy. That's the dad kept saying no. So she put down the Barbie, and when they left to go down another aisle, she ran over, and sitting on top of the video games was one special video game that this little boy really wanted. So she grabbed the video game, and she ran to the counter. And she used her money to buy this video game, and she had the clerk, the cashier, put it in a plastic bag, and then she whispered something in the ear of the clerk. And the clerk just smiled, and she put it under the counter. And the little girl was so happy to see that the little boy and his dad were two behind her, two people in a line behind her. So they went outside and they stood and they watched when the little boy came up and he put his $2 up there to get his sticker. The cashier says, "Congratulations, you are my 100th customer and you won this prize." And she gives the little boy the video game and he's stunned, he's so shocked, his eyes got so big and they welled up with tears, and he said, "This is exactly what I wanted." And he was so happy, and the little girl and her dad were outside looking in the window. And the dad said, "Sweetheart, why did you do that? Why did you put your Barbie back?" And the little girl looked up at him and her dad with the biggest toothless grin in her little face, little mouth. And she said, "Daddy," she said, "Grandma and Papa told me to buy something for me that would make me happy at Christmas." And she said, "I can't think of anything better." And she skipped away to be with her dad and made her happy. So it doesn't take a lot for us, for all of us, to be in a place of absolute kindness. There's always enough. There's always enough for us to be kind, for us to be loving, and for everything that we need. So what is it? What really matters to you this holiday season? I love that we're giving socks. Didn't that feel good for us? All of us giving. For as you've heard this, it is giving. It is in giving that we receive. What a beautiful gift. And so I'm going to close today with this very simple but beautiful and very powerful reading. And believe it or not, you're going to find this very surprising. It's from the Bible. How many of you love the Bible? A few of you. Okay, good. How many of you love all the Bibles of all the religions? I do. I love to study all the religions. So this particular reading, someone that had this intention of bringing together a message from the divine, from Spirit, to us that are all directly, they put it into a reading that encapsulates the absolute peace, the power, and the grace of God. So I want you to listen to that, keeping in mind that this is all from the holy Lamsa tradition, the Holy Scripture. So I'm going to have our wingman. Where's my wingman? There he is. Okay, would you begin, please? And I'm going to have you close your eyes, and I'm just going to read this beautiful compilation. And this is the divine. This is the universe. This is Spirit. This is Yahweh or Buddha or Jesus, whoever is your name for the divine. This is that being, that person, that essence, that love talking directly to you. So as we close our eyes, we just breathe in, hearing these words as if that divine essence, the Creator, is speaking directly to you. You may not know me, but I know everything about you. Even the very hairs on your head are numbered. For you were made in my image. In me, you live and move and have your being. I knew you even before you were conceived. I chose you when I planned creation. You were not a mistake. For all your days are written in my book. I knit you together in your mother's womb and brought you forth on the day that you were born. I have been misrepresented by those who don't know me. I am not distant and angry, but am the complete expression of love. It is my desire to lavish my love on you simply because you are my child and I am your father. I offer you more than your earthly father could ever, for I am the perfect father. Every good gift that you receive comes from my hand, for I am your provider and I meet all your needs. My plan for you, dear one, for your future has always been filled with hope because I love you. I love you with an everlasting love. My thoughts toward you are countless as the sand on the seashore, and I rejoice over your singing. I will never stop doing good for you are my treasure. You are my treasure. I desire to establish you with all my heart and all my soul, and I want to show you great and marvelous things. If you seek me with all of your heart, you will find me. Delight in me, and I will give you the desires of your heart, for it is I who gave you those desires. I am able to do more for you than you could possibly imagine, for I am your greatest encourager. I am also the Father who comforts you in your times of need. When you are brokenhearted, I am close to you. And as a shepherd carries its lamb, I carry you always in my arms and close to my heart. So with that in mind, let us just take a moment on this beautiful day just to recognize that indeed there is only one infinite and loving presence, one essence, is Father, Mother, God, the Christ presence, Buddha, Allah, Jesus, whatever name we call it. It is one infinite, divine love intelligence that created the entire universe upon universe upon universe upon universe, forever expanding. And this divine essence, I know that I am one in it, and it is in me. For I am made in the image and the likeness of infinite spirit. And I am here at the most perfect time to be on this planet, the time of the Great Awakening, where we as humanity are awakening to our spiritual magnificence. And so knowing that, I speak my word on behalf of myself and everyone here. In the area of physical health and well-being, I know that within every cell of my body, the divine resides. Within every single part, every level, every function, every action, every part of my body, God is there. Within me, as me. So therefore, I am the radiant health of God. In the area of prosperity and abundance, I live in a limitless universe with limitless amounts of all good, not just money, but homes and cars and divine work, whatever my heart desires. For it is God's good pleasure to give me the kingdom of all good, the cornucopia of all good, all good. And so I open my heart, my mind, my spirit to receive, to bless, not only to allow the presence of God to be me, but to be a divine receiver as well as a divine giver of these gifts of spirit. And in the area of love, I know that I am made out of love, here to love. And I allow myself not only to give love, but to receive love in a beautiful flow of grace. For I know that the peace of God lives in me. The power of God is who I am. And the grace of God is how I live, in recognition and realization of my divine essence. Thank you. I give thanks for this. I say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, God. As I release this entire prayer into the law that always says yes, I know it is done. That each word I've spoken is already an accomplished fact. And so please join me in anchoring this consciousness into our very DNA by saying with me, and so it is. We now have another song, and this song you may have heard before. Is it going to be, do you want to